So I've come to document the equivalent to Hillsborough to Bramall Lane on a match day, just to show you that there's a lot less inconvenience to businesses and residents around Hillsborough to Bramall Lane, which is completely locked off on match day. Now, what I wanted to show you, where you see Winster Road here, there was a row of terraces. So I go back to 1964 with Wednesday, and just here was my great-grandma and great-granddad's terrace house, and there's a picture of me as a baby actually in my great-grandma's arms just here. So I'm going to let the crowd get in on match day, but I've walked down with some people who know me from my videos, and it's really interesting. Mark from Pittsmore's just stopped and shook my hand as well. So hopefully Wednesday's going to win today. But I just want to show you the equivalent between Hillsborough and Wednesday. But talking to Mark from Pittsmore, Mark was saying that it's 36 quid today on cop. It's much cheaper at Bramall Lane, and it's so unfair on Sheffield football fans. We're being absolutely fleeced, especially the Wednesday side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the crowd start to dip, because what I want to do is, when I was walking around Bramall Lane, there was a few fans going in after the kick-off, and it made me laugh because they're paying so much money to go to a football match, and each match I've gone round Bramall Lane, there's been hundreds or 1,000 people outside the ground just queuing up to get in because of this modern ticket system. So what I'm going to do is I'll do the equivalent to Hillsborough when it gets to 1 minute past 3 and the fans have gone in. But I just want to show you how many fans are walking down Penistone Road at the moment and give you an idea. So I'm still waiting for the crowds to die down, but I'm on Winster Road still, and just across here, before football became an expensive business, we had the Sheffield Wednesday football shop here where you could buy your merchandise, if I remember this rightly. People would correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm talking back in the 1960s. I'm absolutely sure this is where either Wednesday Supporters Club was, or where the shop was that was selling the football shirts, etc. So I'm just waiting for the crowd still to die down. I'm going to do this with Mark Bannerman as well. He's done Bramall Lane with me in the past, so it should be an interesting walk around Hillsborough. But I can already see that they've shut down 2 of the actual lanes on Penistone Road. So down here is the south stand. Now this is a private road of Sheffield Wednesday, and they've got every right to block this road off because it's not public land down here. But it's quite a shock coming along Penistone Road here, where there's 3 lanes, to see that 2 of the 3 lanes are shut down and you can't carry on down Penistone Road. You've got to turn right here. Now I've been on this end with 23,000. It only holds 11 now when it's full, and we didn't have these 2 inside lanes coned off. So this is the same sort of scenario as on the Bramall Lane end as there is at Hillsborough. So I'm a bit shocked about this, that we used to get 23,500 on this end of the ground and we didn't shut all the inside 2 lanes off, not that I can ever remember. We just queued on the actual footpath. Now I've actually watched an old video from back in the 80s, and Penistone Road was this wide back then, and the fans were just queuing on the pavement. So to me it's a bit of a nanny state, this, and that's one of the main reasons I don't go to the football matches anymore, because I can't stand sitting down at a football match. I want to stand up, and they're just not going to allow us to stand up anymore. So it's about 14:51 at the moment, and this is the fans coming down Erries Road. And to tell you the truth, it don't look that busy. To say there's probably going to be 25,000 here, there's very few fans coming down here. Now this is where I always park, right up here. We used to park right up Erries Road, right at the top, well past this bridge. But looking down here, you can see this side of Penistone Road's completely shut off. So you've got 2 lanes down here shut off, and then what they're doing is they're forcing cars around here and up there. So exactly the same situations happening on Penistone Road as it is at Bramall Lane, which is quite a shock to me because we didn't have all this palaver when I stopped going, but I haven't been since 2005 when we had the playoff final at Cardiff Arms Park where we beat Hartlepool. So we've got a great bit of artwork on the outside of the ground. Anyway, it's nice to see the outside of the ground brightened up. Alright, so it's about 3 o'clock now, and I've just been speaking to the people dealing with the roads just here, and when they get the nod, they'll open this road back up. So until they open the road back up, the cars are having to siphon off up that way. But they'll get the nod from inside the football ground and they can remove the cones. But after 75 minutes, they'll put the cones back out again at 75 minutes. And then this same scenario will be like this until, well, after the match. So I'm waiting for Mark Bannerman to come down with me, and but I didn't want to miss what was going to happen at Hillsborough. There's a bit of a difference that, yes, they do block it off, but then once the match has kicked on, they'll reopen it till the 75th minute. But I'm not noticing as many fans outside Hillsborough as Bramall Lane, but that might be just my bias. But it's gone kick off, and there's still a few. Paying 36 quid a ticket, and that's the cheapest one at Hillsborough on the Cop, but and people are dawdling outside the football ground. Got Mark Bannerman with me. He's had a right job parking up Erries Road. I don't think he's been to Hillsborough that many times, but you can see at the moment now they're actually opening up Penistone Road, so they've been given the nod. It's about 3:05, and now cars are going to be able to come all the way down Penistone Road. But you can see the same scenario around Hillsborough as you do around Bramall Lane, but there are actually people in the kiosks at Bramall Lane. There don't appear to be any people in the kiosks anymore where you paid, but it's like public streets becoming private, because my view is that if you're going to check the fans, you should be checking them on once they've gone in the ground, because they're on a public street until they get in the football ground. So but we'll have a bit of a walk round and see what else we can see around the ground. So you can see now it's 3:07. The road's completely back open again, but I do still think it's in any state. I mean, I've been on here with 23,500 and now there's only 11 and you're shutting roads off, but we didn't have mobile phones back then either, did we? So you know, people are not always focusing on what they should be doing anymore. Just to show you some of the things that you can't do in Hillsborough now. My laugh says it all, doesn't it? So we're looking up Erries Road at the moment. I've got Mark with me, and Mark wants to say something about this, about these cars parked across here.
Well, one time I parked across road, just over there, and I wasn't obstructing the pavement. I could take you to the spot exactly, just for a quick reference after, and I got a ticket. But on match days, nobody gets a ticket unless you're parked on the corner. And so, quite controversially, up there's an island. You quite often find a car parked on the island in the middle of the road.
I didn't know there were an island up there, Mark. It shows you how long it is since I've been up there.
Right on the junction.
So I was just speaking to one of the stewards on it's a public footpath, remember this, and he didn't really want to say out back when I said it's a bit over the top, the health and safety nowadays around the football grounds, because I've not been here since 2005. They've even got these scanners. This is what you have to, if you work in a warehouse now in Sheffield, when you go in and out of your warehouse, or out of the warehouse, they check you with these scanner things. I can't believe this at football matches. My dad's never told me about this. Alright, so that's quite interesting. I've just shown you the scanners. They scan every single person coming in the football ground with a scanner. I just find that absolutely unbelievable. Now, a lot of people have told me Hillsborough is not as bad as Bramall Lane, But I have not been since 2005, and I wouldn't find that acceptable. Scanning me like that to come into a football match, I don't know who they think they are. But the other thing, to cap it all, I was just talking to one of the actual stewards, and he says, you can't film me. I said, yes I can, you're on a public footpath. I'd actually turned my phone off so I could have a decent conversation, and then he's saying I can't film him. Yes I can, mate. And if you're on a public footpath, these are actually public footpaths. So one of the things I'm going to say is that, have you heard about, if you put a frog in a saucepan and you actually gradually heat it up, it won't jump out. But if you put a frog in a hot saucepan, it'll jump straight out. And I think this is what's happening with football supporters. They've been conditioned over time to accept this type of behaviour, and I would not accept that. Going into a football match, checking me with scanners like that, I find it really insulting personally. I mean, we managed for 100 years with no issues at football matches, so why, you know, what's really going off? So I'm just walking round to the Leppings Lane end where the police are going to be. There's no police on this end. I had a word with a few of the stewards, and the ones that are born and bred Sheffield, there's no issue speaking with them. But a bit concerning with some stewards, because the level of English skills, and if a fan gets in your face, it could escalate a situation. So my concern is, like, and I've had this problem in warehouses as well, health and safety, end of day. So but we'll get down to Leppings Lane and see what's going off around there. I missed that, but Wednesday's just scored, so that's good news. At least Wednesday's 1-0 up, unless Watford's already scored. We were just talking to the coach drivers as we're coming round. So we're on Vere Road, that's going to connect us through to the Leppings Lane. So I don't know what happens with this road in when the match is on, whether it's locked down or not.
I've noticed it in the past. It's been locked down at the entrances.
Yeah.
And they ask people if they live here to let people up and down. But I didn't see any of that today.
So yeah. So Mark's saying that usually they lock the street off, but he didn't see that today. I remember even back in the 80s, I'm refusing to let people up and down this street, but we'll see what happens when we get to the other end. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to come back again another time, but this will be like my first attempt at doing it. So before the match, they shut off this road up here and here. Then they open it back up once the match is on, probably about 5 past. And then I was told at the other end they shut the Penistone Road down at 75 minutes of the match, and the guys just said they shut this down after 50 minutes, but I'm sure it's probably not going to be reopened, or it's not going to be shut down till 75 minutes. But you know, I find it strange, because I was here for Boxing Day when we beat United 4-0, 50,000, and where you see these yellow posts just here, that's where the turnstile wall used to be, and we just queued up from here. We didn't shut all these roads down, so to me it's very nanny state. But sounds like Wednesday scored another goal, unless that's the Watford fans, but I'll find out in a moment.